If you've been on FlashPanel for a while, you've probably noticed that the tab that was formerly Drive now reads Google Apps. This was to make room for other additions within the Google Apps suite that we're planning to add, like calendars and Google+. Today I'm going to go over our most recent add, Sites. The layout looks very similar to the Drive Explorer, and in fact you have a lot of the same functionality. First, you have a few graphs that give you information at a glance. Here you can see the number of publicly exposed sites as well as the sum total of sites in your domain. You can also see the number of sites that are exposed externally, meaning that they have one or more external collaborators. The last updated graph shows you how regularly users on your domain have been creating and maintaining their Google sites over the past year. This is helpful for gauging user adoption. You can also choose to hide the graphs to show more of the rest of the content. This is really the meat and bones of the Sites tool, where you get a full listing of every site created on your domain. Here you can see the title, owner, date that the site was last updated, as well as the sharing status. A quick note about the owner: for a number of these sites you'll notice that the owner displays as a deleted user, and the reason for this is that unlike docs and groups that require an owner, sites do not. So you can have an orphan site. If the user was deleted, all of their site information will still be maintained, and this is really important if you have something like a company intranet. And if the original owner is no longer with your organization, you can still retain all of that site data. By clicking into any site, you can view all collaborators and owners, and you can modify those by clicking Current Sharing Settings here. You're able to change any current collaborator to only view or edit rights, or remove them completely, and you can also add more collaborators based on an email address or even a group. Below, you can view the page hierarchy of the site and the date each page was last updated. Currently, you're not able to edit page-level permissions within FlashPanel, but you can do so directly within the site's interface, which we direct you to here. You can also click directly into a site, view the full content, and make any changes, even to privately shared sites. Keep in mind that you'll be added as a collaborator, and any actions will be recorded in the site's audit history here. Going back to the Sites Explorer. While you can make a number of changes that I just showed by any individual site, you can also do so in bulk. So just select some or all of the sites on your domain and click Edit Permissions here. In the drop-down, you'll see that you have the ability to change the owner, add or remove collaborators, and also change sharing settings. You might just want to change a handful of sites to be shared within the domain instead of publicly. Filters also become very helpful here. So if you see in this drop-down, you have a number of filtering options. You could search by sites that are owned by a specific user. Maybe this user is leaving your domain, so even though it's not essential, you could change the ownership of all of these sites. You can also combine filters if you're looking for one site in particular. Another really helpful filter to search by is the site's exposure. So you could see from the charts above that you have a certain percentage of sites shared publicly. In order to bring this down, you might want to filter by all public sites, then select all, and change the sharing settings. Another helpful filter is to see who sites are shared with. Here you can enter an email address or an entire domain. I always like to filter for gmail.com, which would mean that your users are sharing sites with their personal accounts. Then you can select all and remove the collaborator. Another use case for this might be if you have a contractor or an external employee who is building out your company website. Once that project is over, they no longer need access to all of your information, so you could search for all the sites that are shared with them and then remove that person. At any time when you use a couple of filters, you can export your results to a spreadsheet and have a record of all of that information.